Hello everyone, Al Gelger the SideQuest Gamer here, and one of my favorite reviewers from Blogspot.com, Luis Diaz, who goes by the internet pseudonym Another Luis Diaz, he requested I review the Japanese Famicom game, Choujin Sentai Jetman. Yeah, try saying that 5 times fast. Anyways, there's one problem though. I don't have a Japanese Famicom, and I know there's gonna be that one guy in the comment section saying, SideQuest Gamer, why don't you import the Japanese Famicom? Have you ever heard of eBay? And to reply to those people, I will say that I don't have the money nor the space for a Japanese Famicom console, and I don't think I have the right video cables for my TV for a Japanese console that ancient. So, because I don't have the space nor the money for a Famicom, I'm gonna have to play this game like the rest of the internet. Through, let's just say,
legally ambiguous means.
Arg, joining me software pirates, eh laddie?
Well, to justify legally ambiguously playing this game is because A, it's a Japanese licensed game, B, the game is out of print and was not re-released digitally, nor did Toei even express interest in doing so, and C, the developers and publishers are no longer making money off of the game, so any money gained from a resale would go to some 30-year-old Japanese adult who had a garage sale. Also, I mapped the controls on a PC gamepad to play like it would on an NES controller, and even though that wouldn't be authentic, keep in mind the Famicom controllers are likely worn out, so if anything, playing the game on a new PC gamepad would be the better option in terms of controls. Anyways, this is a licensed game for the popular 90s Japanese TV show Choujin Sentai Jetman, which was the 15th entry to the Super Sentai franchise, which was basically the precursor to Power Rangers before the franchise was introduced to America. Now, I'm not saying Super Sentai is Power Rangers. They're not. But Power Rangers is based off the Super Sentai franchise, and they're both made by the same company. But think of it this way, just to avoid confusion. A jacuzzi is a brand of hot tubs, meaning all jacuzzis are hot tubs, but not all hot tubs are jacuzzis because a jacuzzi is a brand of hot tub. Now, if that's not confusing enough for you, basically Power Rangers is part of the Super Sentai franchise, but the game was developed by Nasume and published by Angel, which was a subsidiary of Bandai, and it seems to take a lot of inspiration from the game Mega Man. Wait, before you hit that dislike button, yeah, I see that cursor hovering over the dislike button. I am not saying that as a criticism, I'm actually saying that as a compliment. Seriously, like Mega Man 2, you get one of the coolest intros in 8-bit gaming. And then the game starts. You get to choose a difficulty or input a password, but after that you go to the level select menu, and this is where the Mega Man inspiration comes into play. You're given 5 levels to choose from initially, each labeled A to E. Now the cool thing is that A is the easiest level, and B through E gets progressively harder, but the game never gets frustratingly hard. After you choose your level, you choose one of the 5 Jetmen. Red Hawk and Black Condor have a close-range sword weapon, White Dove and Blue Swallow have a long-range gun weapon, and Yellow Owl has a close-range gauntlet. But each character is balanced out where the close-range weapons cause the most enemy damage, while the long-range weapons are the weaker weapons, but either character can kill the gauntlet of enemies with ease. Each level is a side-scroller, but not exactly a platformer. It's like Karnov, where the obstacles in the game are the enemies themselves, that are pretty quick. If your character gets killed, your extra lives are the remaining characters left, and you get a game over if all of them are killed, kind of like the NES Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But at the end of each level, the game goes into kind of a robotic fighter mode where you fight the level's boss and all 5 Jetmen are in the combo mech, the Great Icarus. But if you die in a boss battle, that's game over because all 5 of your characters are killed at once. But luckily, this game has infinite continues and a password system, allowing you to pick up where you left off. The controls are straightforward in that typical run and gun setup where you can duck, jump, and shoot precisely, although I found it odd that the select button pauses the game and the start button is a special weapon. Shouldn't it be reversed? And I looked up the controls on GameFAQs to see if anybody noticed this also, and they did, so it's not the emulator. I do like how the controls are implemented in the mech boss fights, where if you hold down, you block the enemy attacks, which, by the way, builds up your power meter. Have full power, press start, and you'll unleash your deadly attack on the boss, which usually takes at least 35% of their HP. But beat all 5 levels, you lock Area F, but it's just like any other level in the game. It's not like a boss rush or anything, or as long as Dr. Wily's castle stages in the Mega Man games. And after that, beat the boss, you beat the game. It's short, it's sweet, but it does have lasting appeal, making it highly replayable. I mean, sure, the game could be beaten in just half an hour or less, but it's still infinitely replayable. Its graphics are pretty good, but they're the best and most detailed during the mech fights and the intro and outro cutscenes. The music is well composed. They reproduced the show's theme song perfectly in 8-bit. So does this game still hold up? Well, it definitely does. It looks like an 8-bit game and plays like one, but it does have charm and lasting appeal. It follows the show well, although it doesn't seem to have a linear narrative of any sort, which was fine for a 1991 Famicom game, but I don't know, some form of story would be nice. It's like the game expects you to know what the show's story was and go from there, but I guess story doesn't matter for an action-packed game like this. But for those who didn't watch the show, wouldn't know what the motive of why they're battling the Vram army, and why the Jetman destroyed that death machine above the city. Mega Man 4 did that perfectly in the same year with an intro explaining the story of Dr. Cossack. But overall, I would give this game an 88 out of 100. While it's not Mega Man due to its open and spacious levels that even Contra did better in terms of level design, this game still holds up, and it's a very underrated game, and I recommend you should play it. And for the price I paid, which was none because they didn't release it on Virtual Console, nor will they ever, I'd say it's worth multiple playthroughs. You can play this on emulator, or you can play it on the actual Famicom. And I will say, this game deserves to be on the high-tier licensed games like DuckTales or the Illusion series. I think this game's pretty underrated and it should get more attention. I mean, the internet doesn't even know it exists, other than the huge Super Sentai fans. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much, Luis Diaz, for the request. Anyways, until next week, remember to stay awesome, my friends.